a female walking on a job site and saying, hey, I can sell you these products versus my buddy that I've been working with for 6 years? How do you win business in that situation?
So I think that it actually fueled the fire for me to be able to be looked at as somebody who maybe didn't necessarily belong. I think it motivated me to study twice as hard. I went out and I got my OSHA 500, my 501. I made sure that I adjusted my questions to any of my prospects and my clients. Just, they have so much knowledge. I did not have the knowledge with first getting this company started. So being able to build that rapport and that respect, I was willing to work for it. I have the work ethic. I had everything that I felt like people needed in the industry. And now, instead of them ever looking at me as maybe you shouldn't be in the industry, to now people are asking for my advice and really looking for it. It's a great feeling because I know that we're making an impact.
Welcome to the LiveWire podcast, powered by Family. Join us as we explore the untold stories behind America's electrical infrastructure, sparking conversations about life, safety, business, and innovation. Brought to you by OEL.
Valerie Boyd,
Yes.
Colorado Safety Supply. Awesome. Thanks for stopping in and thanks for doing this with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We're just starting this whole journey of podcasting and stuff. And I think one of the things that we really want to focus on is like some of our partners, some of the people that we work with. I think there's so much awesome, valuable information for people to glean from different companies, different organizations, distribution, manufacturing, partnerships, that we want to really kind of like highlight and stuff through this journey. And I think it just kind of takes some of the pressure off of what feels like a tsunami sometimes if you're going to start your own business and stuff and what some of those things feel like. So we've been working together for a few years now, and I think we kind of found you guys by happenstance, and we actually didn't even know you guys existed, and you were in our backyard. So we're based in Palmer Lake, Colorado, and we pride ourselves a little bit on knowing our neighbors, and we didn't know about you guys, and we were actually selling to another distributor that was then selling to you guys, and we were like, hold on a second, let's go call these guys. And that was where the story kind of started with you guys. So it's been a great relationship, but I want to know, how did you start Colorado Safety Supply? Where are you from Colorado originally? Like where did your story start?
I am native Coloradoan.
Okay.
So ironically, even to this day, we bought the house I grew up in. So I'm Colorado.
Wow. Like in Denver?
And just outside of Denver, in Greenwood Village area. So
Okay.
Yep. So that's where I'm from. I was born in Greeley. But again, my dad used to own retail stores all growing up. So he used to own a big toy store, cheese house, arcade, different things like that. So I think at an early age, I had a little bit of experience with retail, but never to the extent of where we're at now. So
Okay. And that was in Greeley?
That was in Greeley.
Okay, so your dad was kind of this entrepreneur and stuff, and then primarily like in the retail sector. So he had multiple distribution locations and stuff for retail. And so you grew up with that. Did you have brothers and sisters?
I do. Yep.
Okay.
I'm the baby of the family. So I have an older brother and an older sister.
Okay.
Really, the whole family ended up going towards financial advising. So I was a financial advisor for 14 years.
Really?
Which, interestingly enough, I'm 13 years into starting this business. But really, I think I just am attracted more to the male-dominated industries. So being a financial advisor, working with individual assets all the way to retirement accounts to employee benefits. Went to a meeting. They were talking about women-owned businesses in construction, and it was for the Small Business Administration. My husband at the time owned a structural steel company. And so that was the first thing. I came home and I had 3 little boys. And I asked him, what are some different opportunities that I could look at? And he said, safety equipment. And I thought, you are crazy. I don't know anything about safety equipment. And him being in the steel industry.
Well, congratulations. Nobody else does either, apparently.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and being in the steel industry, fall protection was actually the number one thing that was
exactly
gleamed right out. So again, that's the reason why I'm so passionate about fall protection. And that's really what gave me my start in the industry and to get things going. So
Yeah, that seems like that's kind of you guys' like bread and butter is the fall protection stuff.
is.
Okay, so that's like I know you guys carry several different lines, and the fall protection warehouse training space that you guys built and stuff is awesome. And obviously, I just see you guys lean into that space so much, which is always so complimentary for us. I love whenever we find safety distribution points that are heavy in fall protection, because typically we can pair up arc flash with it so quickly because they're usually in the same room conversation. The EHS person that is managing the fall protection is also managing their electrical safety, is also managing their confined energized space. It's just the whole thing always wraps together, and it's a problem for them to be able to manage all of those different things. So, okay, so you started as financial planner, right? Working with assets, high wealthy individuals and stuff. So now you've got so I've got the understanding now that you've got this background in finance, which is probably one of the biggest business pitfalls. Yes, they don't know how to manage their books. They don't know how to manage their finances. So you've got that background. But then you've also got this growing up background with your dad working in retail distribution. And then you've got your husband now who's in, what was it exactly? Steel.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got a nice crock pot here of, okay, what do you want to do with this and stuff? Okay. That's an interesting process.
Yeah.
So then so he says safety and you go, or what? Like, what was the process for that whole?
Yeah, it's a very interesting. So the thought process was, you've got to be kidding me. I honestly didn't know what a harness was. Getting into the construction industry, it was a challenge, which actually gave me more motivation to learn that much more and to just stepped up my game kind of across the board. So for the first 2 years, I started the company. For the first 2 years, I was just searching for mentors. I really wanted to try to find those people that were very influential in the business that could really give me some good thought process and knowledge and education. So I found it. It was fantastic. I think over the last 13 years, I've got 600 different mentors, but I really started working with, in those first 2 years, Jack, I'm not going to say his last name, but he's working as a general contractor now, but he was a great mentor. He came from the fall protection industry. He worked directly with a manufacturer.
Okay.
And so he was very knowledgeable. We'd actually tap into a lot of the engineers. We'd tap into a lot of the manufacturer recommendations, which gave me kind of my first introduction, which I feel for anybody, that's the most important thing is the manufacturer recommendation and really building that good bond. The second person that I was introduced through Jack was an old OSHA inspector.
Smart.
So he actually—
go to the top.
He was working on a really big project downtown, the Union Station, and he was hired as a third party to come in and really analyze the entire job site.
Like auditing?
Auditing.
Okay.
And so he came in
Everybody's
as a
best
consultant.
friend on site.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was amazing. So I was still trying to figure out, is this really what I want to do? Could I make an impact? Could I make a difference in the industry? And so following him around, he would take pictures, he would analyze, he would circle, he'd dig into it a little bit deeper. And so his eyes of the OSHA, and it wasn't just one industry, it was every single industry, because he was hired by the general contractor. So by the time all of the audits and the data was collected, we were able to put it into a report and turn around and report it directly to the general contractor with a final dollar amount. If OSHA walked onto your job site today, this is what the overall cost would be. I think I was hooked from there going forward. I love the industry. I love the people. I love the challenge. And I think that's really kind of fueled the fire to say, you know what? I'm working another job, but I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to do this full time. I'm really going to take it to the next level.
Okay, so do you have 3 boys at the time?
I did.
Okay,
yeah.
so you got 3 kids at home. How old are they when you start this whole endeavor?
Oh, geez. So 2012. So they were 8, 9, 10.
Okay, so they're in sports.
In sports.
And so you are working still as a financial planner, pseudo, whatever, and you're following around an OSHA inspector now, figuring out what these job sites require on a safety front. And then at night, you're putting them to bed, and then you're getting on your computer and basically starting to source where you're going to get all this stuff from, and then trying to convince these manufacturers to set you up as a dealer. Is that basically how it went?
That's how it went.
How many years did you do that grind? Because that's insane.
So it's funny, we were talking about this last night. I feel like the first 3 years and the first 5 years of owning your business as an entrepreneur, it's tough. It's tough. You just don't, especially when you don't have anybody to bounce off ideas off of. When it's 100% on your shoulders, you're relying on not only your mentors, but your family and the people that you really, respect to give you advice. And so I would come home constantly and I'd say, oh God, I really want a partner. I want somebody to buy in on this. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're scared.
Yes.
It's scary. It's scary.
Right.
And you're like, what'll fix this is a partner.
A partner, somebody who has all the knowledge in the world.
Yeah.
And my husband kept saying, you've got this. Like, no, you don't. You've got this. You've got this. And now looking back 13 years later, I'm so glad that I had that support. Not only from the kids, because the kids, we started doing, one thing that really sticks in my head is we opened up a division to where we would do the prints on the back of everybody's safety vest. And we got to the point where I was really picking up a lot of business. And it was fantastic to see. It was fantastic to feel. But I was still the person, I was the to-go red button. So I'd bring my family in and we'd line everything up and we'd do 500 vests at a time. And we'd spend the weekends.
And this is a garage business, basically?
It was the first building that we were in. My husband gave me one office up front and he was just like, good luck. I hope everything goes well. And then we knocked down the walls and I took over the entire front of the office. And then shortly we moved into the warehouse. And then from there we had to span into a bigger office. And then we ended up it was a dual office, and then we bought the one next door. So we really started expanding the business probably, 6 years ago when I think when we met you, because we've been working with you guys, I want to say it was about 6 years ago.
Yeah, probably about that.
And it was such a great challenge because electrical contractors was not in our purview. That wasn't something that we were initially going after. But because we started partnering with OEL, not only me, but my sales reps were really motivated to start bringing in additional clientele, new business. Let's go after this. Let's really focus. It's a local company. It's a family-owned business. And we love the challenge and we love the opportunity. And now we've got a very decent sized book of electrical contractors. So that's been, you guys are the ones that kind of triggered that. So,
well, yeah, we saw you on a box shipping to you, and we're like, something doesn't seem right about this. Right? There's a supply company that's a safety supply company in Colorado, and we don't know about them, so we are going to call them. And yeah, that was obviously where things started. So we're okay. So it's so similar to us too. We were in the same boat. We were this small kind of company that we had, two offices type of a thing. We had this big building that was leased out to all these different tenants and stuff. And then over time, we just continued to occupy more and more and more and more until we occupied the entire building. And now we're occupying the building next door and stuff. And it's just like, this thing just kind of builds and expands. But what do you think what's the secret sauce that you think was the deciding factor? Because again, I'm going to say this and take no offense to it, hopefully, is that like a female walking on a job site and saying, hey, I can sell you these products versus my buddy that I've been working with for 6 years. How do you win business in that situation?
So I think that it actually fueled the fire for me to be able to be looked at as somebody who maybe didn't necessarily belong. I think it motivated me to study twice as hard. I went out and I got my OSHA 500, my 501. I made sure that I adjusted my questions to any of my prospects and my clients. Just, they have so much knowledge. I did not have the knowledge with first getting this company started. So being able to build that rapport and that respect, I was willing to work for it. I had the work ethic. I had everything that I felt like people needed in the industry. And now instead of them ever looking at me as maybe you shouldn't be in the industry, to now people are asking for my advice and really looking for it. It's a great feeling because I know that we're making an impact.
Yeah, that's a big accomplishment. Sorry for interrupting you, but if you can like, subscribe, and reshare this podcast to someone you know, it'd really mean a lot to us. All right, let's get back to the episode. At what point did you move from almost the imposter syndrome, I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't be doing this, they're not respecting me, to I know what I'm talking about and I can help these people?
Right.
Like, when does that happen for you? Like, at what point?
Yeah,
because you got to have some balls to do what you did ultimately.
Right.
Like, you really do. And I think that's what's cool about your story specifically is I've gotten to watch some of it mature in the last 6 years a little bit, and it's a freaking respected distribution channel in this market. And I'm like, we are very much like, hey, we're big fans of the Colorado safety people. Like, they do a good job. They know their stuff. If you need, here's the introduction for it and stuff. And our sales guys love working with you guys.
well, and vice versa. And I think that's really kind of when I realized that we had something that we could really grow on is when I started hiring people. You work very closely with one of my sales reps, Tyler. The passion walking in the front door, and it's just contagious. And it seems like those are the people that we attract to the business is the people that, again, have the passion. They enjoy learning. They enjoy expanding. They enjoy making a difference. They enjoy watching the company go to the next level. And I think that's kind of where I started looking at it as we're really making an impact. We're making an impact not only to the industry, because we work across the board. We work with not only the electricians, the steel erectors, the drywallers, the general contractors. That's just construction. Now we work with a lot of different municipalities. We work with Denver Zoo, and we work with the Art Museum, and we work with a lot of people who are within the general industry, which is really a part of the business plan, is to make sure that we kind of span it, not just focus on one particular industry, but be able to share our passion across the board.
How do you bring, when you're first starting, you hire your first employee and
man.
you're like, oh crap,
Yep.
how do I do this? How do I manage this person? I've got all this stuff that I've held really close to chest for a long time now, and I've got to start letting things go. What was that process like for you? Because that has been always one of my biggest struggle points is like, I'm not OCD, but I am controlling in certain regards. And so like letting things go and being okay with how everybody else or how somebody else might do something.
Yes.
Like when did you hire your first employee?
So I hired my first employee. It was an accountant.
It's a good move. That's the first.
Yep.
I need my books to be clean. I got to go sell.
Exactly. Yeah. And I had such a sales mentality where I would actually go out and take each one of my clients a little container of candy. And so my goal was I need to make sure that candy never goes empty. So I would stop by continuously saying, hey, I'm still here, just trying to get my foot into the business. And, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, actually, I think letting it go, I've been so passionate and so involved with the company for such a long time that it's probably been within the last year and a half, 2 years that I've been able to look at my team and say, you guys are you're rocking it. Like, I feel like we've done a great job to really expand what the vision of the company, where we want to go, starting to put processes and procedures in place.
So hard to do.
It's so hard to do.
When you're a small business growing, oh my gosh.
Well, and I think for each person that you bring in and you hire, they all have fantastic ideas, but it's more of a, hey, let's talk about your fantastic ideas, and I'll tell you if we've done it, if we haven't done it, or how we can incorporate it. But a lot of people come in and all of a sudden your SOPs just go shoo. And then all of a sudden they're making different decisions and they're, bringing in such amazing ideas, which again, I love that we can bring in that passion and because we're still growing. So we've still got a lot of
you got to
pivots.
assimilate it in, right? You got to get the vision lined up correctly, because you don't want somebody working unnecessarily on something that's not necessarily going to feed the bottom line, which is ultimately what we kind of have to do at the end of the day. Right. So first employee is an accountant. You're like, all right, clean my books up, get me kind of like, make sure this is all, everything's getting with the IRS where it needs to go. I got it. Cool. Here's all my receipts. Please sort through them. And then
I think it was a sales rep.
Okay.
And he was, oh my God, Jordan.
Yeah.
Did you? Okay.
Maynard, love him.
Yes.
He's the man. I love Jordan.
Maybe we have been working longer than that, but I keep trying to get him to come work with us again because he was so fantastic at what he did. But had the sales rep, and then I think I did a business development, and then another sales rep. And then we ended up moving into another facility, and COVID hit. And COVID was probably one of the most profitable business years that we had, just because we decided to get creative and utilize one of our clients' facilities to make hand sanitizer. So we were actually spanning across the U.S. And, and so that was fun. So we had multiple different sales reps. We had a lot of people employed during that time. But yeah.
What makes certain vendors better than other vendors for you? Like, what are the things that you're like, this is a manufacturer I love and trust. Obviously, I'm not trying to just like sell ourselves on this process, but like you have some really, really great lines that you carry. What makes one really, really good that you're like, this works. This is great.
So just like we have to build a rapport with our end users, this industry is based on rapport, respect, and confidence. And I think that is not only do our clients expect that of us, so we want to top notch be able to provide that from the very get-go, but we expect that from our manufacturers also.
Mm-hmm.
We realize that we're the in-between, a lot of the manufacturers and the clients.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make sure our clients are safe, their
Mm-hmm.
hazards are taken care of. And having that partnership with a company like OEL, you guys have an amazing customer service. We absolutely love some of the different people and the way you hire people. It seems like it aligns with where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
But we just have a lot of appreciation for how quickly you guys respond, the customer service, the quality of the product. I remember the first time we started working with you, and I think it was your brother. We had somebody call in and they said, hey, we really need to get, I think it was a glove kit, or there was something. And that afternoon, he's like, I'll meet you at Starbucks on Orchard and I-25. I'll get this to you.
It was
we'll get
either
it in
me
their
or Josh.
hands.
It was one of us.
It was so fantastic. And I didn't even know you guys from there, but it made such an impact that you guys took it upon yourselves to really care. And I appreciated that because it was important not only to us, but to our end user. And it got them to where they were able to have the equipment and they were safe on their job site.
And they started trusting you guys because you could deliver, right? Like that was the big thing. It was like, hey, I can get it to you by tomorrow type of a thing. And in fact, the vendor is going to even drive it to me and stuff. I don't want to set that as a precedent because not everybody gets that treatment.
Right.
But nonetheless.
But at that time, it was
a big deal. Oh,
it made an impact.
There was, I can remember a time early on in the process where we were, and you know this too, it's like, you go and put it in the back of your car and you drive it to the UPS or FedEx store and you get it out the door. Like bottom line, like I know we stopped shipping at 4. This came in at 4:15. They need it tomorrow. It's going out the door. Like we're going to go get it there. And we still have that same culture with guys that work in the warehouse or operations that they take that same care to it. And they're like, hey, I can take this after hours. It's all good. And I'm like, okay, I don't know who bred that. I guess maybe it was by example to some degree, but at the same time, like this is the world we live in. This is safety. It was needed yesterday.
Right.
So, and these sites can't get shut down for something as, they forgot to order their glove kit or they didn't get it or something like that. It's like, that's got to get there and stuff. It's costing these companies and these organizations tons of money. And when you understand that full scope of it, you'll move with a sense of urgency at that point.
Yeah, and I think you hit it right on the head. When it comes to just the most important word, it's trust. Who can I trust? Who can I work with? Who wants to be a partner? How can we align ourselves with other companies, other manufacturers, in order to make sure that the end result is taken care of? So trust is important.
How do you, have you ever had to deal with like a really upset customer and it wasn't your fault? How do you deal with that?
How do I deal with that? Well, it's important there's two sides to every story, but it's important, of course, that you really gather the details and the information. My number one rule at our office is sometimes if you do have, and very rarely do we have irate customers, but
you guys have a very, very high customer satisfaction.
We
like
do.
Everyone I talk to that's like, work with caller safety, I'm like, you're good to go.
Oh,
like, great.
I love that. But it just seems like my rule is you don't respond with an email. You don't respond verbally. You give yourself 24 hours to really think it through, because the way that you respond now is going to be a completely different response in 24 hours. And it really has made a huge impact within our office. And again, if let's say a sales rep or an inside salesperson comes to me and says, hey, we've got this issue. I like approaching it of, that's fantastic. Okay, so here's the issue. Give me 2 solutions. Like, don't walk it. This is the issue. Give me 2 solutions.
It's like raising a toddler.
I know.
It's like raising a toddler. Like you present them with 2 options and stuff, and you let them make the decision. It's very empowering for the individual.
It's huge. And I believe in it. So those are 2 really big rules that I've tried to carry out to my entire team.
Okay. So as you guys kind of continue to grow and whether it's acquiring more market share or just expansion in different regions and whatnot, how do you sort of vet through that journey of making some of those decisions? Like, do you have vendors that help push that and drive that initiative for you, like manufacturers, or is it you see a real good you see a really strong market opportunity for what your brand is now, Colorado Safety Supply, to say we could do this and do this really well over here? Is that how you kind of observe that? Does that make sense? I don't know if that question made any sense.
Yeah, I just mainly trying to figure out kind of where our growth opportunity is. And I think with the 3 divisions of the company, it gives us the opportunity to get into different markets. We actually just recently bring in a safety professional. He's one of our safety consultants and specializes and loves the rope access, high angle rescues. We brought in a sales team sales employee, inside sales that actually mirrors the passion. We just picked up an entire new division of companies.
What are the 3 divisions that you're talking about?
Okay, so initially getting the company started back in 2012, I started the safety equipment. So anything really to make you OSHA compliant with a huge emphasis in the fall protection. So that was my passion. And then probably 6 years later, we started listening and realizing that our approach has been more educational. I want to educate people and then the products just come with it.
Yep.
And I think that's what I love about you guys too, is you guys take a really strong approach of the education and then let's go ahead and sell your product. So the training consulting piece came in, which has been great for us. So again, we're really focusing on the confined space and the fall protection and the EM385 and the multiple different NFPA 70E, which was another bond that we had that has WAPR classes. So with having that division, it opened up a lot new opportunities. The third division is more of a compliance. So the fire extinguishers, first aid, AED, spill containment. And that one was great. My husband, I think, initially said, hey, you should really start renting out extinguishers. And I was like, renting out extinguishers? And I said, how about I just open this company and we'll just start doing the repairs and recertifications and start working with these companies and going on site. Plan was just to have it for our current book of business. Since then, we've really been able to expand that division.
It opened up so many other opportunities. You're like, well, here we go now. That's exactly how the education module is for us. It's like, you're trying to create that enterprise suite solution, right? You want that customer to be so ingratiated with you and trust you. Being the key hallmark of all of it is that they say, hey, I've got this problem. Can you help me solve it now? And you become that resource for them.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so rewarding. It's so rewarding.
Have you ever had to respond to a site that there was an accident on and you had to help them kind of get back in bounds with sort of their compliance and stuff and just go through that journey with them a little bit? Or has it been mostly like you guys are all on the preventative side, obviously?
We're on both the preventative side. Now we do have a consulting piece to where we can go out and start working with the clients. Again, we'd rather be preventative so we don't have to run into issues on the back end. But going through the policies and procedures, what are some of the different hazards? How can we get you in compliance? How do we do consistent audits? How do we come in from a consulting role and just be a backbone for safety? Because it's always great to have a third eye on whether it's the job sites, your teams. It just seems like a lot of these companies are so overwhelmed with their focus.
100%. Yeah, it's exhausting. When I sit down with an EHS guy, I'm like, I've got maybe 3 seconds to get your attention on this topic because I know you've got a laundry list of other things happening. People, cable management being one of them, footwear being another one. It's like there's so much stuff that on these guys and girls' plates to manage, especially when you get into the bigger operations. It's insane. So I have an enormous amount of sympathy for them, and being prepared for those meetings, being prepared to walk in and actually be able to present hopefully a series of solutions for them and options is vital to a successful type of a meeting with them. What do you think is as you guys continue to grow and sort of blossom out, how are you handling this next chapter of your business entrepreneurial experience? Like, are you holding on still a little bit, or are you kind of able to sort of be like, you said you had a good team and you were like, I love you guys, I trust you guys, you're doing a great job, you fit the culture, the mold's there, but how is it letting go of some of that and stuff? I know that there's just a lot of emotions around that.
There is. I feel like there's a certain point when you've gotten a business to where, you keep hearing the, different rates of only so many companies succeed after 5 years and after 10 years. And each time I'm kind of like 5 years, okay, check, done. Yeah. 10 years, awesome. I'm rocking it. And then 13 years, and so I kind of hate each one of those different time frames, I guess. And I looked at it as I've built the company and the team to where I really have confidence that we've got a really good structure. We've got a great platform that we can build off of. So now I'm looking at more from, I'm bringing in resources, leadership resources, sales resources.
Yep.
And so I've had so much fun working with those resources and third parties, just to watch all of the employees. Cause I could say it 10 different times, hey guys, this is kind of the expectations, or have you ever thought about this? Which I think sounds fantastic. And then somebody comes in and says the exact same thing. And then all of a sudden it's just, the game has completely changed. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate working with those third parties to bring in those leadership skills and the sales skills, because it just gives them another resource. It's important to watch them grow. So it's been tons of fun to watch them grow. So as we bring in new employees, they can turn around, they can pass their passion and their knowledge to the next person that comes in.
Yeah. So, I mean, you almost become like a facility. Like I get that a lot right now because the last 2 years, it feels like all I am is a resource manager in a lot of ways. It feels like my job is to literally go out, find the tool, get the tool, figure out how to get it integrated in, and then hopefully they don't castrate me through the journey of it, because it's like I did a software change last year and I literally thought my accounting department was going to stage a mutiny at the company. I was like, oh, this is not good. Granted, Stacy, who's been with us for like 25 years, she was with my parents. She's been with Josh and I. She's been with Josh for like over 20 years. She's been with me for over a decade. And man, I brought in a new software and it was like, like I thought it was going to be okay. And it was a full on stage mutiny. Now everybody seems to be like very comfortable with it. Everybody likes it. They're finding all the value in it.
Yeah.
And that's great. But ultimately it's like, it's a challenge to find resources. But yes, that is what I feel like my job is a lot of the time now is, how do I put tools and resources in front of you so you can continue to excel?
Right.
And ultimately, it's like, it will work itself out in the end of that. But that was a hard shift for me, was letting go of a lot of things and being able to say, my role is to build you guys now.
Right.
Like, this isn't about me. This is about you guys. This isn't about us surviving. We've survived now. So let's start building the next generation of people and resources and tools for them to be able to succeed at an even higher level than even we could have ever taken it.
Yeah. So we just moved to a new payroll division. And again, it was one of those, like, how can we try to keep everybody on the same page, the same vision, the same, and so again, you have to bring in those resources, no matter how much pain it brings to the team. But then you're looking at it more of a 10-year to a 20-year to a 30-year. So where's OEL going to be within the next, umpteen years?
Yep.
Probably still with the same software. So a little bit of a pain pressure, but it all makes sense.
How do you feel about the market right now? And how do you feel about the market over the next 5 years?
I feel great.
Yeah. Why?
I do.
Just curious.
I do. Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of people have just been, we've had a great year, and we're hitting goals, and I think we'll probably hit our end goal for the end of the year. And I think it's because we don't push the market and the economy, and that we just say, listen to your customers, and let's really start figuring out how we as a team can go ahead and look at the opportunities and take them to the next level. But I guess we're able to do that because we are still, a fairly small company. And so they don't impact us as much. But again, I feel that, within the next 5 years, there's so much opportunity out there. It's unbelievable how much opportunity there is
the
out
infrastructure reinvestment right now is unreal. So by the time you get like downstream to what are the assets and requirements needed for each one of these sites and stuff, it's like, oh my gosh, guys, this is crazy. Like I don't think we're going to be able to make enough product for this stuff, but it's an exciting problem to have. Obviously it's a good problem to have. But yeah, I look at like the AI revolution and I look at everything else that's going on right now. The level of infrastructure, power generation, transmission lines, substations, I mean, you name it, it's everywhere now. So, I mean, I'm only speaking mostly from the electrical safety side of things. It's like what used to be sort of like this very kind of like specific trade worker, electrical contractor has now broadly expanded out so dramatically. I mean, I think about like the auto tech workers and people like that, first responders on fires, electrical, vehicle battery fires and home charging stations and stuff too. It's unbelievable. And I'm excited for the economy. I'm a little nervous. I think the cart's a little bit before the horse on a lot of the regulational side of things, but nonetheless, I am super, super excited to see where this goes. And it's like, there's a great, I wouldn't say, it was interesting. It was a commercial for Salesforce, and it was like Matthew McConaughey, and he's walking in this old Western town, and he said, if what is it? If data is the new gold, does that make AI the Wild West or something like that? And then at the end, it's, it's a Salesforce ad and it says, don't worry, we don't sell your data. And I was like, first of all, that's a total lie. Secondly, it's totally true though. It's like, this is what we're in. We're in the Wild West frontier now, and data, power generation, all this stuff. I mean, whether it's fall protection or electrical safety PPE or, you name it, it is exploding off the Richter scale. So it's an interesting time to be in the market for sure.
It is. I think that especially from the electrical contractor, I think the trades are getting a lot of looks. I think we're getting a lot of younger generation looking at trades as an opportunity. We do a lot with some of the different innovative schools, do a lot of volunteering, and it's great to see that. I know on the East Coast, again, they're very heavy trades. And you're starting to see more and more kids interesting and opening up just the realization that there's good money to be made.
Yeah, there is.
And everybody always needs an electrician, no matter what. No matter if the building's built, if you're building a building, if it's, being reconstructed, whatever the case is, there's so many different staple industries that I feel like haven't really been pushed like they should be. So it's great to see more and more of the younger generation getting in.
I've been barking about this for like a decade with like the Mike Rose of the world and stuff with Dirty Jobs. And I'm like,
love
this
him.
is good
I
stuff.
love
I'm
him.
like, guys, this is high paying, awesome jobs.
Right.
Like, you don't need to go to a 4-year degree for this, even though if you do, that's fine. But like, it's like, this is make money while you're learning too. It's so awesome. And I love the fact that the trades are finally getting their due. But yeah. Well, I think we're probably just about out of time. So anything else, Jay? Feel good? Sweet. All right, Val.
Awesome.
Go to coloradosafetysupply.com. You can learn more about Val and her company and all the awesome work that she's doing, the brand that she's built, the absolutely high level of expertise that you guys bring. Any closing thoughts that you want to add to that?
I just appreciate you guys being such a great partner, and looking forward to the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Appreciate everything that you guys do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Val.
Thanks.
Bye.